streak for the V8 Supercars, and Mark Skaife is currently in position number 7 on the road, but 6 drivers in front of him, including that man there, Jason Bargwanna, are yet to pit. So when they do, Skaife will re-emerge as the race leader. Lap 17 of 39, you're on board the VB in-car camera. And there's Paul Wheel coming in, car number 43, coming into pit. It looks as though he's coming in on 3 wheels.
It's a sidecar, not a car.
Paul's lost his surname as he comes in that jacket straight up. Well, you're not going to find it under there. Don't worry about that. Whack another one on. That was the incident. That looks as though it's up the top of turn 2, so he's lost that completely. He's almost completed an entire lap with 3 wheels.
Well, he's coming in one of the cars that have made his compulsory tyre change. They're just trying to clean up the hub and check it and make sure it's not damaged so he can continue. That's what I mean. It's a bit costly, this. Who's changing wheels under pressure? Things can go wrong.
That's why it's very much a team effort now, Mark.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's got to work all together. Obviously, the drivers, you know, as I said earlier, to find 1 second out there is very hard.
Yeah.
And but to find 1 or 2 seconds in the pits, if you've got an efficient crew, it's a lot better. So everyone's got to work together, and it is a team effort.
Bit of bad luck for Paul Wheel as he comes in and gets another one on. What about him at Phillip Island? He was another of the victims of the Jason Bargwanna crash. He had to spear off to the left and managed to hit a drain, avoiding that crash. It caused some spoiler, shock absorber and radiator damage. Into the pits we come with Russell Ingall. So he's come in. Just like Wayne said, it's painstakingly slow at 40 k's an hour. Remember, when they're coming down pit straight normally, on the main straight, they're doing 270.
There in the pits, just watching the timing monitor. Marcus Ambrose continues to close on race leader Mark Skaife.
Russell Ingall came in for that stop, but Larry Perkins came in as well, and he said to the team on the radio, you're going to have to get ready now. The boys were not ready for Larry's arrival.
Yeah, it can happen under the heat of pressure here, competition. 18 of 39 gone. Russell Ingall rejoins the race, but since during that stop, Marcus Ambrose has closed the gap to Mark Skaife. It's down to about just under 2.5 seconds now. So it'll be interesting to see whether the Pertec Ford can claw back that leading Commodore. There he is. Catching Skaife. Skaife's in 5th. He's just taken Ambrose, so there's nothing between him and Skaife. There, look at the gap. Really closed it down. So the Pertec Ford continuing to lap slightly faster than Skaife. Would have been a result of traffic. We'll find out now. They've got a clean fight.
I think a lot of this is also the fuel is being burnt up, and the car's getting lighter in the rear of the car, and it looks like, you know, his entry into the corners is a bit stronger than Skaife at this stage. But you know, when the fuel burns off, the car gets lighter in the rear of the car, and obviously it gets less understeer, and he can catch. So Marcus is doing a great job out there.
Fastest lap of the race so far from the Super Cheap Auto. Fastest lap score 1:32.96 on lap 13. We're up to lap 18 now, and he's continued to carry that pace on his second set of tyres. Really starting to close in on the back of the Holden Racing Team Commodore. What's the gap now? Check it out for you. Skaife is now up to 3rd. Ambrose is up to 4th, but they're effectively your race leaders because only Garth Tander and Stephen Ellery are yet to pit.
That explains it there on your PlayStation 2 race score. The little blue chips on the right-hand side of the name with the T in it means that they've come in for their tyre stop. So Longhurst and Brad Jones out of that group haven't come into the pits yet. Lowndes, Ingall and Faulkner certainly have.
Well, this will be surprising a few people, Wayne Gardner, but looks like the Stone brothers are carrying on that message. They are starting to get a handle on these cars.
Yeah, we've improved a lot over the last couple of months, and you know, you can see that it's starting to work a bit stronger. But yeah, we've got a little bit more work to do. I mean, catching Skaife is one thing, but getting by him is another. So he's a bit of a wily old fox, and you know, HRT run a good operation with that car, and but you know, we're getting closer, as you can see in Marcus. I think he's an outstanding driver. I think he's a very, very talented driver, and he's probably the guy that if anyone's going to take it up, he's going to take it to Skaife.
It's going to be interesting too because Marcus Ambrose was very effective at blocking Mark Skaife out of the lead at Phillip Island a couple of weeks ago. Now the shoe's on the other foot. Let's just see how wide Skaife can make that Holden Racing Team Commodore.
It'll be his turn for payback.
We've got a long way to go too. It's only lap 19 of 39.
Well, he said quite clearly if he does get the chance for payback, he'd do it, wouldn't he, Mark Skaife? He made no bones about that. Let's take a look at this fantastic shot right in.
See that there on the left at the top there. Oh, it's going to shake around a bit. This is one of the only criticism that Mark Skaife has of this setup, that when he's going around a corner, digital readout is constantly moving in front of his eye line as opposed to being fixed on the dashboard.
Oh, poor guy. I feel sorry for him. He's leading the race and he can't read his digital readouts.
I don't know about you, but most of us, when we hit a corner at that speed, would like to see the corner, not the steering wheel first up.
Exactly. My eyes are usually bigger than saucers, and they're peering to the window, not at the steering wheel.
Here's one of the good success stories in this round. Greg Ritter had to come through pre-qualifying. He did so. Such a pressure-packed session it was, and Wayne Gardner's testament to that. He'll tell you all about it. But car number 71 made it through and put massive smiles on the face of DJR Racing. He almost went on there in that replay, but it was great to see Greg Ritter get through, because it means that Shell Helix have now got 3 cars in this field, and he did fight at Phillip Island. He missed out through pre-qualifying there, and he admitted to me it was hard to catch those guys, hard to catch the top teams around the back part of the track. He had lots of speed in the front part of the track down Gardner Straight, but when it got all the technical tricky stuff, that's where he couldn't find it.
Yeah, well, that was his excuse, and basically mine was I just had lap traffic, and someone had been off the circuit and brought on a heap of gravel, and when I was trying to do my time, I hit the gravel and slid off the road on, obviously, when the tyre was when it was at its premium, and I missed out by 1/10 of a second. It was disappointing, because I don't think it's a true testament of my speed and the car speed. And look, I would have loved to have been out there today, but you know, I think that it's probably not the right way to do it. I think they should just let everybody out there in the top 36 get into the race, as simple as that, you know. And it's a bit disappointing, and I guess the biggest losers at all this are the sponsors, and sponsors aren't, you know, the easiest guys to go and find and support you. So but look, you know, lessons are learned. We'll go away and we'll get back at the next race, and I can tell you one thing, it won't happen again.
Did you feel the pressure going into that? I mean, we always talk about pressure to top line athletes, and some of them, you know, deal with it in varying ways. Glenn Seaton admitted to me that was a hell of a pressure packed session, and he really felt it beforehand.
Yes, I did, but I sort of went into it pretty relaxed, because I was really confident of you know, being probably one of the quickest guys, and out of that group normally I would be, but I guess it probably caught me unaware, and it just goes to show you that anything can happen, even to some of the top guys. I mean, for example, if you had a plug lead fall off, or you got a flat tyre, or anything happen, you actually miss out, and that's kind of unfair.
Well, if you take a look at this Dunlop telemetry on Greg Murphy's Kmart Commodore, it'll give you a good idea of the speeds. You've got the speed there on the left-hand side of your screen. The revs on the right-hand side. In front of him is one of the Shell Helix cars. And Greg Murphy is currently in position 11, so that's Paul Radisich and Stephen Johnson in front of him here. Really pushing the rev limiter up. This is the bouncy, the up and down part of this circuit. Over that ripple strip on the inside left-hand corner. Rejoining turn 9. Left-hander through to the hairpin, which is turn 10. That's Stephen Johnson. Paul Radisich, Greg Murphy. There's the fastest lap times for you. Marcus Ambrose on lap 13, put down a 1:32.96. Mark Scaife did his quick one on lap 3.
Scaife has consistently been fastest in the first sector. The second sector has belonged to Ambrose. Greg Murphy's been the fast man in the third sector, so a number of cars they're swapping fastest sector times depending on where they're going.
Oh, Paul Radisich gets both right wheels on the dirt, and Greg Murphy waits to pounce and will do so. Gets the inside line coming into turn 1. Radisich
back on the back,
clears the way and makes sure that he gets through smoothly. John Bow has now joined that pack as well.
It's the battle for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th spot.
Mark, I was over one of the first practices watching it, and those two Shell cars really struggle around the back of the circuit. They're not handling particularly well, and they've got very good straight line speed, but the cars just aren't working at this circuit. You know, some circuits are very quick, but this particular circuit's just not working.
A bit of a funky track for them, but this gets off on the dirt, keeps the foot into the throttle. Car goes left and right. Greg Murphy took advantage of that slow exit speed. Look at this, right over on the loose stuff. That's all Murph needed.
Oh, they both would have had flashbacks to Phillip Island, because Radisich went across down the main straight at Phillip Island at exactly the same time as Greg Murphy and Jason Bargwanna got tangled up behind them. But Murph here gets the inside running on Radisich and goes straight past him into turn 1, back down to pit lane. This is lap 23 at 39, and Garth Tander comes in, the only man remaining to pit.
Yeah, they held him out there for a long time. 22, or lap 22, a window which closed at 28. And he was the last man to come in. sure whether he was able to make hay.
That was slow pit stop, 12.1.
71, Greg Ritter. Greg Ritter has pulled off the side of the track. And just as we were talking how much of a good weekend it had been just to get here, he's had to park the Shell Helix Ford Falcon.
Well, this battle continues now between Mark Scape and Marcus Ambrose. This is the leader of the race. The Pertec Ford has been able to close into within half a second. Scape has been able to respond and hold that lead. So this is a real tooth and nail struggle. These guys will be driving absolutely on the maximum.
That was just up a Corporate Hill, just where they went around there at around about turn 8, which is where Greg Ritter parked it. So he's come around the back area of that circuit. The car's just given up on him.
I think Scapey's having a go. He's driving off the track a little bit there, and he's obviously trying to keep the gap and try and keep Marcus away. So he's certainly not taking it easy by any stretch of the imagination. And Marcus is trying very hard, obviously, trying not to put a foot wrong, although he's not using as much road, I've noticed, so that's a good sign.
So Scape, the gap over Marcus Ambrose, 1.5 seconds. So he's been able to pump it out by about half a second over the last 2 laps. Maybe he's going to start trying to build that buffer again. Let Ambrose get to within half a second of his car.
Well, the pit window will shut at lap 28, but everybody's already gone in. Scape and Ambrose are now back out in front, 1 and 2. Car tandem will be updated. There you go, right there. Craig Lowndes moves up into position number 3. Todd Kelly's in 4th. Ingle is in 5th. So this is how they're going to race it right to the end of lap 39. Greg Murphy in position 9, Radicic in 10, and John Bowen in 11th.
Position back with more from Eastern Creek on your home of motorsport.